So I've got some news for the upcoming Nothing Phone 3. Some confirmed and some yet to give us any clues. But let's get started with what we know. First off, we have official confirmations about the existence of the Nothing Phone 3, which was pretty much obvious. And so we have the official launch date by Nothing. Maybe not the launch date, but more like the launch month, which is July of this year. And I think it is going to be launching by either the 2nd or the 3rd week of July. And this was going to be the flagship product by Nothing of this year. We all knew about that. But what we didn't know is that they're actually going all in this year on this phone. Like basically a proper flagship. So that means premium build quality like strong aluminum chassis, really strong front and back glass protection, maybe finally a proper IP68 water and dust protection by Nothing, proper AI features, and finally we might be able to use the essential button, which as of now is not that much essential for a lot of people.
Okay, while editing this, I found something. Nothing might actually not use the old glyph interface or no glyph interface at all. Like maybe a new dot matrix style glyph interface or maybe no glyph interface, but that will be weird because that's the main identity of Nothing, right? So expect a new or a revamped design, especially in the glyph light area.
With proper Wi-Fi and network support of course, NFC and so on. But I think this year they could really piss off a lot of people waiting to buy this phone, talking about the later on. It might have a 6.7 inch or a 6.77 inch or 6.8 inch 1.5K or maybe a bit lower Full HD plus 120Hz LTPO AMOLED display with a proper Gorilla Glass protection, as they are going all in on this one, with even slimmer bezels, proper HDR certifications, maybe on Netflix too, but who knows, with a proper PWM dimming and bright enough display to even use it in outdoors, which might be around 1800 nits in high brightness mode and up to 3000 nits on peak brightness. Now flagship products are incomplete without a flagship hardware, right? So for the processor, I think Nothing will either go with last year's Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 or the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 or the 8 Elite. Now why no Snapdragon 8s Gen 4? Well, yes, the Snapdragon 8s Gen 4 does sort of outperforms the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in raw benchmarks and performance, thanks to its newer and more powerful core structure and better and faster GPU, but the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 still has an upper hand in terms of AI-centric tasks like generative AI and with proper 8K recording support, which isn't that necessary, but since Nothing's sole goal is to implement AI across their new flagship phones, I think they might use the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 or the 8 Elite because those can perform better in these type of tasks. There's still room for the use of Snapdragon 8s Gen 4 as it's still a capable processor, but my bet's with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for better AI capabilities and also will help reduce the overall cost of the phone, or the 8 Elite if budget isn't an issue. Along with that, you can expect a 128GB of base variant of UFS 3.1 storage, but I think that is not likely to happen, or a 256GB or higher storage variants with UFS 4.0 storage speeds. And I think there will be only 12GB of LPDDR5X RAM for all of the variants. If there is a 128GB variant or a lower variant, then the 8GB RAM might be there, mainly again for the implementation of AI. Now the cameras are also going to get an upgrade, but I think there wouldn't be any big sensor upgrade. Like yes, they might still use the 50MP IMX890 sensor from the phone 2 for the main sensor, along with the 50MP JN1 sensor for the ultrawide and a newer 3x telephoto lens or a periscope lens, which will be the biggest addition to the camera system. Or maybe upgrade to something like the OnePlus 13's camera hardware, since I think it will try to compete against OnePlus in that area. More on that later. Like a 50MP LYT808 sensor for the main one, along with a 50MP JN5 ultra wide angle sensor and a 3x telephoto or a periscope lens that might be the LYT600 sensor, and obviously a 32MP front camera. And all of them could shoot up to 4K 60fps, and maybe the 8K support will be there, but I wouldn't care much of it. The battery size might be increased from 4700mAh to 5000mAh or a little higher on the phone 3. I'm not expecting a 7000 mAh or a 6000 mAh battery on this phone, but something around the 5000 mAh capacity, with about 50W fast charging in wired and about 20W in wireless charging, and maybe around 5W in reverse wireless charging if it is there. And the charger might not be in the box, to maintain the flagshipness of the phone. The phone will also be running on the Nothing OS 3 or 3.5 or so, based on Android 15, with about 4 to 5 years of major Android updates and 6 years of security updates, with possibly loads of AI features integrated in the phone. And of course the essential button will be there present, and hopefully we can do much more than taking screenshots. Now my biggest concern, the pricing. And Carl Pei himself stated in one of his recent videos that since they're going in all on this one, then the phone might end up costing around 800 euros, which is roughly around 90,000 rupees in Indian rupees. Now don't worry, the UK prices are much higher than in India. Like the phone 2's price was initially 730 euros, which was about 65,000 rupees in India, but obviously it was launched at way lesser price in India. So going with that, expect this one to be costing around 60 to 65,000 rupees for the base variant, I think, which might be around 12GB RAM and 256GB of storage, or around 55,000 rupees if there's 8 128GB variant. Either ways, it's a big jump from the phone 2's pricing, and obviously I don't know how people are gonna react to this, especially when we the Indians who prefer value for money phone, especially especially with newer brands over flagshipness. And even if we want flagships, we already have Samsung, Apple or even OnePlus in those high price categories. And thus this is probably my biggest concern, like does nothing have enough strong fan base that would like a premium device so soon? Like it's barely around 3 years for nothing in the smartphone market. They have done well, have gained a lot of trust and sometimes not, but we all know, and especially nothing knows what happened with the phone to its price jump and its sale obviously. So is this a smart move? Now we don't know whether it's gonna be one single product or two variants with different screen sizes and maybe different specs, which might give us a more budget options, but chances of that happening is a bit low as of now. So let me know about your thoughts too and watch these other informative videos too. And as always, till the next one, this was Ridib. See you guys.